Hey, this is Joseph McRae, one half of the McRae Kings, and it's time for a story. So, I told y'all I was going to do a story time, and excuse the fact that I'm laying down in bed, but if you saw my other story time, y'all know I just had a stroke. So, sitting up sometimes, it's easier for me to lay down and do this right now until I'm 100% better, and I want to do story times for y'all. So, don't think that I don't want to do it or I'm being lazy. I'm not. It's just, But anyway, let's get to this story time. So, this story time, I was gonna do a story time in a totally different vibe of what I'm going to do it. Um, so, all my life, I tried to have a relationship with my dad, and I have a half brother as well. And for the longest, he kept me and my half brother apart. And we didn't understand why that was because we both wanted to know each other. We both wanted to see each other. I'm going to skip through a lot of things just to get to the point of the story time. Um, Finally, years, maybe, mm, I'll say maybe like 10 years ago, my brother was in the military and my father, he was stationed out where I was living. So my father flew there and all three of us went and had dinner, which was good. Um, we got to know each other and things of that nature. And it was crazy because me and my brother, the first conversation we had, it was a little weird, but then we just came out and told each other how we were jealous of each other because we both thought we had a relationship with our dad and neither one of us did. So we both were sitting jealous of one another, and there was really no reason to be jealous of one another because neither one of us had a relationship, which kind of made me feel a little better because I'm the first son. I'm the son that walks around with his name. A lot of people ask why I changed my name when I got married, my last name when I got married, and that's because I always told my father that if I had an opportunity to change my name, never thinking that gay marriage was ever going to become legal, but if I had an opportunity to change my name, I would because I didn't want his name. Um, so uh, that's we're gonna go back a little further. I wrote my father a letter when I was 25 years old, and I just poured my heart out to him. I told him how I felt, and he came because we don't live in the same state. He came and visited me, and we had a good conversation. The problem is where the real problem lies is he acts like, and in talking to my brother, we both feel the same way. He acts like we're the father and he's the son, and like we've done something wrong when in actuality we haven't. And both of us feel like, why should we chase you when we didn't do anything wrong? Um, at first it was a little awkward because I had to tell him. I said, listen, I'm a grown man. You can't hold my hand and take me to school. You can't teach me how to shave. You can't teach me to be a man because you missed all of that. So we have to go from now. We have to go from me being a grown man, you being a grown man, and trying to have a relationship with each other. So once again, we had this conversation, and everything went back to the way it was. My mom passed away. He didn't even call me for like a year later, and then the excuse that he gave me, I was like, whatever. But I've never turned my dad away. Whenever he calls, when it was one time I had an attitude and didn't want to talk to him, and that time I told him, I was like, as much as I want to hate you, I just can't find it in my spirit to hate you. I love you, but I'm kind of done. I'm done with the situation because you can only try but so many times, and I don't care who it's with. You can only try so many times, and then it becomes a situation where you're wasting your time. And that's the way I feel, like I'm wasting my time. So, fast forward to me having a stroke. My aunt, his sister, saw that on Facebook that I had a stroke because my husband had put up a post and tagged me in it. And I'm sitting here and I have his number in my cell phone, and I saw it, Dad, come across my phone. I almost passed the fuck out. I was like, oh, okay. It kind of made me feel good that he called me. It did. And this is the only reason why this live is going in a different direction than what it was originally. Well, not live, but the story time is going in a different direction than what it was going to go in because he called me. And we had a conversation, and he sang me the blues of how my brother doesn't speak to him. And I'm sitting there like, well, that's because your son that followed in your footsteps is the one you thought would be the one talking to you, and you figured me because I'm the person that I am and the way that y'all see me on lives, y'all see me go off on Facebook lives, y'all see some of the conversations on YouTube. I'm just not the one for the okey doke. And if you left it to my father, he would think that I wouldn't be the one. But it's always the ones you think won't that will. And the ones that you think will are the ones that won't. And, he tells me my brother won't speak to him. And I want to say to him, well, what do you expect? Like, how many times are we going to explain to you how we feel and what we feel, and you sit and say or get an attitude with us like we're supposed to constantly call you and constantly hound you like you're the son and we're the father. So I get it. And I was where my brother was. I didn't have nothing to say. My father has diabetes bad, and one of my relatives that I don't even know was reaching out to me telling me I needed to call him. I was like, call him for what? He ain't never been there for me a day in my life. So this message is for people in my situation that, because there's a part of me that and there's a part of me that wishes that it was because I was gay. Because my dad is a minister. So there's a part of me that wishes it was because I was gay. Because then I would have a reason why you're not speaking to me. But my brother's a minister too, and my brother is far from gay. And he treats him the same way that he treats me. So it's like, it hurts. If you have a reason, that makes it better. But when you really don't have a reason and you've tried and tried and tried, it kind of bothers you, but you have to make in your spirit and in your heart, and you have to know that you have exhausted every possibility to build this friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it. And if they don't want to do that, then you have to move on. And not that I moved on, because he's always going to be my father. He's always going to be my dad. It's just what it is. Do I hate him? No. There was time I wanted to hate him. I did. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to look at him and look him straight in the face, say, "I hate you," and leave me alone. I could never do that because he's at the end of the day, he's my father, and I couldn't do that. No matter how I felt, no matter how many times I wished I had a relationship with him, no matter how many times it was there. But I also say this to a lot of women. I've had plenty of female friends get mad because their kids asked about their dads and things like that. And they're like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, look, at a certain point, y'all got to stop bad mouthing these men. Because at the end of the day, you had a child with this man. And I'm sure most of these men didn't start acting up when you had this baby. He wasn't treating you right. So what makes you think that he was going to treat your baby right? But what you need to do is let these kids, like my mother did with me, Let them see who their fathers really are. Let them get disappointed. Let them be told that he's coming to see them or coming to get them and they don't show up. Yes, you have to sit and deal with that. Yes. And it probably breaks your heart as their mother that he didn't show up or he lied or he didn't do what he said he was going to do. But you have to let your kids see who he is for themselves. Because if you badmouth them, all you doing is just making the kid more anxious to see, well, why is mommy mad? Why is mommy, because at the end of the day, all we know is that's our daddy. That's it. That's all we know is that's our daddy, period. So nothing you say is going to change their minds. Nothing you say. Let them form their own opinion about their fathers. I promise you, it will work. My mother never bashed my dad to me. Never. She never said nothing bad. And when I was younger, he would come into town and go to my grandmother's house and have my mother bring me there. He couldn't even come pick me up. My mother had to bring me to him, and she would. And she would never say a word. And the only memory that I really have of my dad is going to my grandmother's house when he would come to town, or the one time he took me, and this is going to tell my age, to the movies to see Superman 2 with Christopher Reeve. I remember that. That's like the most proudest moment in my head because that's the first time I've ever done, and the last time I've ever done anything with my dad. And that was in the 70s. So, we're in 2020. It bothered me for a long time. I had to go to therapy. I had to, because I always felt that I didn't have problems with women. A woman could love me. My mother loved me. My grandmother loved me. My sister loved me. My aunt, my cousins, any female around me loved me. But I just didn't understand why a man could not love me down to my own daddy. I had to go to therapy because I was sitting back letting men abuse me, not physically, because I'm a fighting bitch, honey. You hit me, I'm a bush in your fucking mouth. I was being mentally abused by men. I was being cheated on. I was just letting them run amok because I wanted to be loved by a man, and nothing I did would stop this. So I had to go to therapy. I had to get him. I needed somebody to tell me why I allow people to treat me this way when I say I love them. And I knew it was daddy issues. I knew it was. And a lot of y'all need to check that because a lot of you, see, I don't have a problem doing the story time and admitting it because maybe me admitting it will help you or somebody realize why they allow themselves to be treated bad by a man or by a woman because some women do what men do and don't want to be bothered. But my thing is, it's a cycle in your mind. It's a cycle in your head. It's like my brother has a daughter and he's always with her. He's always with her. And I was the same way. I always said the same thing. If I had a kid, which I almost did, if I had a kid, I would never treat my child the way my father treated me. Ever. Ever. But a lot of men don't do that. A lot of men don't know how to be a father because their father wasn't there. So they continue to cycle and continue to cycle. And a lot of women put themselves in a situation like me where they want to be loved by a man and because their father wasn't there and they just allow dudes to just do whatever and run all over them and because they just want to understand why a man can't give them love. And that's not everybody's story. That's my story. But I was smart enough to know why I was doing what I was doing and that it was a problem. And one day I just broke down and I was like, I cried. Like I cried tears by myself in my house. And I just sat there crying, saying, why can't a man love me? No man could ever love me down to my father. And I didn't understand it. And as you see now, I am happily married with a man that loves me unconditionally. And I honestly don't think I would have been ready for that if I didn't go to therapy. Because a lot of times we sabotage ourselves. Um, We sabotage ourselves into thinking and believing and feeling like we can't be loved. Um, and we'll deal with whatever comes our way. And you have to heal that in you. If you really want to be loved, you have to figure out what it is about yourself. Because it's not other people. It's not other people. Because if you keep picking the same person over and over and over again, it's not them, it's you. You're the problem. And a lot of people don't want to face that. A lot of people don't want to sit in the mirror and say, it's me, I'm the problem. That's a hard thing to do. When I had to do that, I was like, I'm the problem. I keep picking up the same type of man. I keep picking up these needy motherfuckers that I feel that if they need me and I prove to them that I'm that ride or die bitch, they gonna love me. They gonna want to be with me. And when that doesn't happen, that's when I turn into psycho bitch. But see, I can admit all of this and say all of this today because I went to therapy. I went to therapy years ago for this. And every now and then it would kick in. And, it would kick in, and I would start going back into my old pattern. But see, at least this time I knew what I was doing. And I realized what I was doing. And it makes a difference when you realize what you're doing because then you can kind of remove yourself from a situation. And, like when my mom died, that was it. It was like, oh my God, the only person in this world that loved me unconditionally is gone. What the hell am I going to do? And I was just latching on to people. I was latching on to people. Even 7, 8 years after she was gone, I latched on to somebody and realized, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? Are you still in mourning? You need to check that. You need to get that in check, cause this whole entire motherfucker ain't shit. He ain't nothing you want to be with, but you sitting here losing your whole entire mind over somebody that you would never even deal with as a friend, let alone is a love interest. So I guess the point of this story time is sometimes we need to look in the mirror and check ourselves because it's not always other people. Sometimes it's us. And figuring out it's us, we need to change our destructive behavior for ourselves. We need to fix us before we can be any good for anybody else. It just can't work if you're broken and then you meet somebody that's broken because if both of you are broken, neither one of you can be together. Because when you heal that brokenness, you'll tend to run away from broken people because you'll see it. You'll see the signs. You'll start to see yourself in other people. And somebody told me a long time ago, a lot of things that you don't like in other people, when you say, I don't like her because of that. I don't like him because of this. All those things you're pointing out are things that you are. And you need to fix that. Because if you don't like it in other people, damn sure people don't like it in you. But like I said, I wanted this story time was going to be totally different than what it was. But because my dad called me, I decided to switch it up. Like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, you can't force anybody, man, woman, boy, child, whatever, to have a relationship with you, whether it's a friendship, a love interest, a relationship, any kind of relationship. If somebody doesn't want to be there and care about you and you have to chase them, the only direction you need to be running is away from them because they're not good. They're not meant for you. But with that being said, I am going to end this story time and I'll promise you, because I have a lot of things that have happened to me in my life that are totally hysterical. Like the one time before I was married and I was being a little ho ho ho, and the boy yelled something and woke up my entire neighborhood. But I'll tell y'all that in my next story time. But on that note, you know what I always say, walk in peace, love, and sunshine. Definitely follow McCray Kings on all of our social media outlets, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. like and subscribe to the videos, and like and subscribe to our page. We're uploading new content all the time. Also, definitely, because it's a whole different vibe, check out our podcast on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and if you don't want to download those apps, you can definitely listen to us on Spotify. And we're on even more podcast outlets as well. But I figured those are the easy ones because everybody either has an iPhone or Android. So you can get us on Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts. And a lot of you listen to Spotify for music. So all you have to do is type in McCray Kings with a Z and we pop up. But on that note, y'all, my husband is downstairs cooking me some dinner. And I am going to eat because he can cook. I can too. Maybe we'll do a cooking with the kings when I'm better. But anyway, thank all of you for your concern and thank all of you for reaching out to me, making sure I was okay, telling me to slow my ass down because recovery will come and will come quick. And again, it's Joseph McCray, one half of McCray Kings. Peace, because you know it's Team McCray all damn day. Later, y'all.